Okay, so we're back from the peer-to-peer. Seems like everything went well.
It did.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're just going to kind of debrief on how things went. We'll talk about some lessons learned and some strengths you kind of pulled from it. Maybe some things you might use to help you guys. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
So I asked Kirsten what, how she manages her time. And that is one of her strengths. She is really good at time management. And she gave me a few of her things that she uses to help her. She said that she plans a detailed schedule at the beginning of the week. She refers to her calendar throughout the entire week to make sure that everything is in line and it is done when it needs to be done. She has certain days for certain tasks. Like one day she'll have visits. The next she'll plan on doing her paperwork. And then maybe one day she'll, knock out some credentialing. And she just told me, she gave me some, she helped me realize that, it's just something that, you got to get into the groove too and find out your own way of doing things. She was just very helpful for me.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you can use with that on your daily basis that kind of really stood out for you?
I think, having certain tasks on certain days.
Mm-hmm.
And then just realizing that it's, something I got to find my own way of doing it.
Okay.
I think helps
Awesome.
me the most.
Kind of that being the personal part.
Yeah.
And Kirsten, what is some lessons that you've learned from this?
I asked Allie if she had any advice on video recording because I get bad anxiety, and she suggested that once it's not so new, like I'll start to feel comfortable first of all.
Mm-hmm.
So that just takes time, but she told me it's easier if you focus on the task at hand because it's a lot more anxiety if you're focused on everything around you instead of just focusing on what you're doing. She just suggested that I practice with someone or her or whoever. So that's good. And basically she just told me to breathe and stay calm.
It's a very big one.
Yeah.
So what is something that you kind of really stood out with you that you think is going to be something that you would use going forward?
Probably focusing on the task, because if I'm focused on everything else I get worse anxiety, so I just focus on what I'm doing. It seems to be easier.
Okay, awesome. Seems like you guys had a really good peer-to-peer. Going forward, since both of you guys are in the same office together, I'll ask both of you guys this. Is there anything you guys need to help with your, with your video recording and your time management? Is there anything you would need from us or from me?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Okay. So I'm glad that things went great with the peer-to-peer. Just remember, this is something, even since you guys are in the same office, this is always something that you guys can continue to do. Kind of talk with each other, if you get stuck, working through it together. Even outside of doing a peer-to-peer, you guys can do it on a daily basis. If there's, you're nervous about video recording, talk with Allie, time management, talk with Kirsten, and we'll, continue that learning through each other. Does that sound good?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. So, Kirsten, we're at our end of our coach circuit. So, from the beginning, I know I didn't ask you about your scale. Thinking back, and I know this is kind of stinky to do it this way, thinking back on a scale of 1 to 10 when you first started, where do you think you were set at doing the elevator speech?
4.
4? Okay, so you were at a 4 at the beginning. Where do you think you are now?
A 9.
9, okay. Is there anything that you need in general from me, just in general, to get you to a 10.
No.
Just kind of practicing and continuing on with it. And I think that's definitely, I know we talked about that, just continuing. Once you get going with it, you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
And I will continue to support you with doing that. I definitely can see, you have a great understanding of the high fidelity process. And I think continuing to say this elevator speech, it'll change, but you'll be able to say it to everybody. So the next thing we need to do is talk about the next step. And that's where we kind of do the monthly PDPs and we talk about where do you want to go next. I know we did critical point 1 instead of doing the whole thing at one time. Do you want to continue to do critical point 2, or do you want to try to do the whole engagement phase, which is 10 steps?
Critical point 2.
Critical point 2. Okay, so what we can do is we will form a PDP in regards to critical point 2, which is the explaining the high fidelity wraparound experience to our youth, and then we will go forward.
All right.
Okay, thank you.